Leaving their flame-filled holds and deep mountain belts, the Fyreslayers march out in relentless pursuit of Urgold, the fragments of their God Grimnir that fuel them with strength. Hearing of their exploits and ever-seeking bloodshed through martial combat, Khorne has sent a trio of Bloodthirsters to fight and bring death to the Fyreslayers. The battle-forged demonic hosts are ever sharp and ready for war, and dwarven skulls are as good as any to honor Khorne. The demons spring their traps and descend on the duardin, but did not anticipate the great Gotrek Gurnisson accompanying the Slayers. Will he be enough to turn the tides against the demons? Or might he finally meet his glorious end?
Hello and welcome to Season of War. Today we have an exciting game of Age of Sigmar as per usual. Zach, again, a bit of a hiatus. You've been busy with work, so getting you in again on the channel and playing two armies actually that we haven't had on the channel in a little bit.
Yeah, super excited to bring Fyreslayers out. Once again, I haven't even played these guys since the last time they were on the channel because I've been exploring other projects, so it'll be fun to bring them out again. For
sure, and our premium members did vote for a good melee bash here, choosing for your Fyreslayers to play against the Blades of Khorne.
My personal favorite, a melee bash.
Yes, you are a pure destruction man, even though you're playing Order today, and I'm playing Chaos, but it'll be a good smash them up in the middle, I'm sure, especially on this mission. But mentioning our premium members, don't forget, guys, that if you want to join the premium membership, you get an extra battle report every week. You get to vote on our matchups, as well as just if you want to help support the channel, that's the best way to do it. So it just goes a long way in terms of making sure we can do this as long as possible.
Yeah, and there's got to be a bunch on there now, right?
Yeah, well, big backlog of videos, so and always more and different things going on there. So thank you so much to everyone who does support us through that way. It honestly means a ton, so thank you. And always want to mention we did our 3D printing files for our terrain for unprintable scenery, so you can check those guys out. There's a link in the description, as well as like having to expand armies like Khorne into all of the channel armies. Always pick up our models and stuff from our local store X Planet. They have a great web store as well. I just got the Stormcast dragons from them. I've already been working on getting them built and painted up, so we'll see. At the time we're filming that, it's 2 days before our live stream with them, so I'm sure you'll know how that game has already gone by the time you see this one. But jumping into today's game, the mission we're playing today is survival of the fittest. So just the normal 3 objectives across the middle. Hold 1, hold 2, hold more. 2 for your battle tactics. The twist with this mission is we each had to pick 3 predator units to hopefully slay the other person's predator units. If they do, we did a bonus point in our turn when we store. And yeah, I don't think any surprise about what my 3 predators are. I have 3 Bloodthirsters. Each of them is a predator, so hopefully, I mean, they don't stay alive very well, but we'll try our best.
Yeah, they do hit hard, that's for sure. And actually going through my predators and my list, so I have 6 heroes here. I guess 6 leaders, technically 7 heroes with Gotrek. But I have Gotrek Runefather. He's my general. He has the command trait Warrior Indomitable, so that's a -1 to wound aura, wholly within 12. And then he also has Tyrant Slayer, which is the artifact for Hermdar, which is going to be my lodge. Then I have Battlesmith, and then I have a Rune Smiter with Emberstorm, so that's the run and charge prayer. Then I have another Rune Smiter over here with Searing Heat, that's a -1 to hits prayer. I have an Gotrek Rune Sun, and then I have another Battlesmith with the Null-Sating Icon. Super helpful in this matchup because of all your wizards that you have in Khorne, so that'll be great. And then I have 15-man block with Broad Axes of Hearthguard Berserkers, another 15-man identical to that. Gotrek, as I mentioned before, a little small 5-man with the Broad Axes. Then obviously bringing in my terrain piece. And a grand strat, probably to no surprise, is hold the line.
Nice,
for me.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I can eventually kill those dwarves. I probably gotta take down the heroes first, but jumping into my list, different thing, obviously, haven't had a Khorne list on the channel without Archaons. This is the first time, just getting 2 more Bloodthirsters painted up so we could just throw on a mash of demons. But jumping into my list today, I am playing Bloodlords, so there's a couple different options for this kind of a build. I went for this one because the artifact actually is really big. It lets me fight first with the bearer at the start of the combat phase, so that's one of my Bloodthirsters of Insensate Rage, so that's great. Similarly, I have a ton of Italians, 2 Warlords for 2 extra artifacts. One of them was the Mark of the Slayer for reroll 1s to hit aura, and the other one was the Crimson Crown, which lets My non-insensate rage Bloodthirster uses command ability every battle round for free from his war scroll.
Very nice.
That's big because he's got the pile N6 ability for all the Bloodthirsters, so I can potentially run up. I don't have to charge. I get to activate in the order I want to. So some cool tricks with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when they don't just get shot down.
Yeah, no shooting here.
Yeah. Otherwise, I have a Bloodshed, I have a Slaughter Priest, and then I have the a Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince, the Khorne one. I needed it here just to fill out points. So we're actually talking about it. Hopefully it's not going to be too polarizing in this, because it is the half charge or half run, half charge command ability.
Yeah, and even though dwarves are really fast, it still impacts them a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So it is good though. Obviously he's a staple in other armies, but here, even like with Khorne, potentially, I'm not the tankiest, so delaying combats, letting me choose where the engagements are, could be really big here, but it is a big board, so I won't be able to cover the whole thing. And otherwise for battle line, I have 3 units of 5 Fleshhounds and 2 units of 10 Bloodletters.
Nice.
Just again, I could have combined some of those, but I just wanted to split them up just for extra blood tithe.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it for me here. With splitting everything up, I was at 11 drops. You were at 10.
Yeah,
so
it was funny. I was just like, yeah, we'll just roll to see because I'm definitely more. And then you're just like, wait, 1, 2, like 11. I was like, oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So you do have choice here, Zach. You're gonna get to choose how the game starts.
Yeah, if I had a faster army, I might go first.
Yep.
But in this case, I think I'll go second, just because my army is known for taking a hit. And we're going to be meeting up in the center eventually, so I prefer the double if possible. So I'll be going second here.
Sounds good. And notable, your heroes are probably outside of 8 inches of the front of your lines on purpose.
Yes. I learned from when my Mob Crusher got absolutely blown off by the Bloodthirsters. So they're in a safe because they actually don't have any mortal wound pass off. It's only the
you want to keep them alive so that they can give the mortal wound pass off, or not the ward save to your troops. So
exactly.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do here, and just jump into Blades of Khorne, turn 1.
The Blades of Khorne battle tactic is Ferocious Advance. The Demon Prince fails Heroic Leadership, which the Runefather succeeds at. The Slaughter Priest chants for Smite, dealing 1 mortal wound to the Rune Smiter. The Demon Prince uses Blood Slick Ground. The Bloodletters use at the double. Khorne holds 2 or more objectives and complete their battle tactic with monsters, scoring 6 points.
Alright, so Blades of Khorne, turn 1. I didn't really, obviously no combat yet, which is telling for Khorne, right? But I did position well, obviously just moving up, grabbing all 3 objectives to just get on there and try to deny you, make it tough for you to get them back. I threw a unit of Fleshhounds up front. I could have avoided Gotrek and just let him move and then run and make him, or you would have ran up though. So basically what I'm trying to do, rather than being far back and you running instead of charging, is I'm just trying to keep you back for now. Yeah, that's the hope. So I'm kind of just hemming you in a little bit with those guys, trying to take board control, throwing up all my demons up in front so you can kill them and give me blood tithe. And then I did Ferocious Advance with my 3 Bloodthirsters to get that bonus point since they're monsters. And just keeping them safe and behind. Otherwise, I'd tried to smite your your priest. I did smite him for 1 mortal wound. I re-rolled going for the D3 on the 6th, but didn't get it. Got the 1 mortal though. He's got running charge on him with his prayer, so I'd like to get rid of that. And other than that, I used the Slaves of Darkness Demon Prince ability, Bloodslit Ground, for the Khorne, to, again, surprisingly, not get it, make combat as hard for you to get into as possible. And even just, limit you, being able to wrap around, tag other units, that kind of thing. So, trying to do combat on my terms.
Smart.
Yeah. But that's it, so nothing too much. And we can just jump into Fyreslayers turn 1.
Let's do it.
The Fyreslayers' battle tactic is ferocious advance. The Runefather uses heroic recovery, and the Bloodthirster fails heroic leadership. The Fyreslayers use Rune of Farsight. The Battlesmiths raise their Icons of Grimnir. The Runesmiters chants for runic empowerment on the Hearthguard. The Runesmiter chants for Smite, dealing 1 mortal wound to the Slaughter Priest. The Runesmiter casts Mystic Shield on the Hearthguard. The Runefather uses Lodge Leader. Gotrek uses Forward to Victory and makes his charge. The Hearthguard use all-out attack and kill the Fleshhounds. The Bloodletters use all-out defense, and Gotrek deals 7 damage to them. The Fyreslayers hold 2 and more objectives and achieve their battle tactics, scoring 5 points.
Okay, so Fyreslayers turn 1. As you can see, within combination of me not using my movement rune and the Slaves of Darkness Demon Prince, halving my run and charge rolls, it didn't almost look like I really moved anything, maybe except for my heroes a tiny bit. But
You ran half an inch over here.
I ran half an inch. I went 4.5 inches over there. I think that's the first time I've ran and only gone 4.5 inches with my full movement. So that was kind of funny. So I was able to cap that objective though still. I just needed 2 guys on there, so got that done. Over here, wiped out the screen of Fleshhounds pretty handily as you'd expect. So they just hopped on there. And then Gotrek went into a unit of Bloodletters and actually only killed 7, which was I was a little bit surprised about. So he did his first pile in to get in range, and then his end of phase
because he's within 3.
Because he's within, so he could pile in again. But then Jordan rolled a 6, so I guess the demons were still kind of scared of him, so 1 more ran away. But got my tactic of ferocious advance with those 3 guys right there being buddies in the back. And then I also hold 1 and hold 2 and hold more.
Yes, so you'll get 5 points here.
Yep.
And obviously I'm super happy. I did do all defense with my Bloodletters just for the chance to survive, and 2 surviving actually was made for priority. Because that could have been real bad news having Gotrek into my 3 Bloodthirsters.
Yes.
Worth noting, so here my Bloodletters too far forward, could have held them back a little bit, not had that risk at all. Otherwise, what I should have done, I did not realize it until you were already charging, is actually I could have redeployed my Fleshhounds just to widen out that thing, so you would have had to go further to go around, wrap
Exactly,
the edge.
exactly. And that's actually why I was worried that you might do that. So that's why I didn't move this block at all, and then I didn't move. You could have obviously moved them from those ones, but I thought it might have slipped your mind by that point. And so that's why, because Gotrek could have wrapped around a little bit more if I were to. But exactly, that would have been a good call. Redeploy is so strong. It's so strong.
Especially in combination with the Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince, I could have redeployed even backwards. If I did, if I did 3 inches, you don't make either of those. If I did like 2 inches, you don't make either of those charges.
Exactly.
But we'll jump into it.
Yep.
It's a 3.
That's a 1.
And so with that, I will take the turn here. A good chance I could have given it away with Gotrek tied up. He wouldn't be hitting anything else, and I would have put these guys on like an 11-inch charge. So there's a good chance you don't get into me at all. But you do push onto the center of the board. I probably still am not moving over you to hit your heroes or anything. So we're gonna jump into it. We'll go into Khorne turn 2, see if we can do some smashing this time.
Sounds good.
The Blades of Khorne battle tactic is aggressive expansion. The Demon Prince uses heroic leadership, which the Rune Father fails. The Demon Prince uses Bloodslit Ground. The Slaughter Priest uses Killing Frenzy on the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage uses At the Double. Gotrek uses Redeploy, moving 4 inches. The Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury uses Rejoice in the Slaughter for free with the Crimson Crown. The Hearthguard use all-out defense, and the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage deals 7 damage to them, and 4 mortal wounds to nearby units. The Bloodthirster General uses all-out attack and deals 2 damage to the Hearthguard. The Hearthguard kills the Bloodthirster General. The Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury deals 3 damage to the Hearthguard. The Bloodletters pile in and attack but deal no damage. Khorne holds 2 and more objectives and complete their battle tactics, scoring 5 points, while the Fyreslayers kill the monster with a predator, scoring 2 points. Wait, whose turn was it?
Alright, so Blades of Khorne turn 2. Struggling to chew through the dwarves. Through all 3 of my Bloodthirsters in. Obviously, not being able to get into heroes, you played super defensive, you have your screen, which is also your anvil and your hammer. So I went in, I killed a bunch, especially taking out that second unit as well. I ran some guys, actually I ran pretty much all of them, and then did the 6-inch pile in from the Unfettered Fury, so I was able
pretty solid.
Yeah, activate intercooler. It's a cool thing, but the problem is Khorne for combat army doesn't really have the damage.
No, yeah, and you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like this guy here, he got like his 2 6s, and then like all 3 went through for D6, and I was just like, holy crap, I'm in
16
trouble.
16 damage.
Yeah, it's 16 damage through, and I was like, oh no, like that unit's gone.
Now that would, well, you're having that because you're 4th ward.
Exactly.
But comparatively, what you're leading to, the second Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury went in, did 1 damage.
Yeah.
And so or like 3 or something.
Yeah, he got 3 through. I rolled a 5 and a 6, so I saved it because I'm +2, and then 1 went through, and you rolled 2 damage for that, and then I saved 1 of the
so 1 damage in the end. So very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Now, that like, again, you're having all my damage, which is so crippling. But the last, the Unfettered Fury killed another 1, 2 guys maybe.
Yeah.
The explosion, at least with this guy, did mostly cripple that other unit.
You basically smoked those guys.
Yeah, and then because of how you piled in, you actually brought these guys in, well, within 6, and because they're Khorne demons, I could pile them in.
Yeah.
Lets me try and get a bit of a screen in there.
Yeah, and you know what? I completely forgot about it for them. I'm like, only the Bloodthirsters can pile in 6, then you're piling them, and I'm like, crap. Now they're really stuck there.
Yeah, so trying to obviously get in the way of Gotrek. That's pretty much it. I do get these 2 objectives, so I get my battle tactic of aggressive expansion. You killed a demon though, a monster, so you get a point for killing a monster.
And then I also killed a predator as well.
That's true,
so,
with a predator, so bonus point there.
Yeah.
But we're still fighting, and we'll be jumping into Fyreslayers, turn 2.
Yes, sir.
The Fyreslayers' battle tactic is broken ranks. The Runefather uses heroic leadership, and the Bloodthirster of insensate rage uses their finest hour. The Fyreslayers use the Rune of Fury. The Battlesmiths raise their icon of Grimnir. The Runesmiter chants for runic empowerment on the Hearthguard. The Runesmiter chants for searing heat on the Bloodthirsters of Unfettered Fury. The Bloodthirsters of Unfettered Fury uses redeploy, moving 1 inch. 1 inch can go a long way. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage fails to stomp. The single Hearthguard uses Skull Breakers and Oath Takers, but deals no damage. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage deals no damage. Womp womp. Gotrek kills the Bloodletters. The Flesh Hounds deal no damage. The Hearthguard use all-out attack and deals 6 damage to the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. The Hearthguard finish off the Bloodletters, and Gotrek kills the Flesh Hounds. The Fyreslayers hold 2 and more objectives and achieve their battle tactic, scoring 5 points.
Okay, so Fyreslayers, turn 2 at the bottom of round 2. I was locked into combat with this unit, so I couldn't really make them as effective as I wanted to getting into it. Jordan also did a smart redeploy when I really unnecessarily moved Gotrek there to get him outside, so I couldn't even pile into him if I wanted to. With my second pile in, so that was a good call. But otherwise, charged up Jordan once again, those 2 bloodletters. I couldn't leave him alone. I had to go after him. So I had to send that unit of 15 up there. Luckily, I still have my +2 movement runes, so not the worst in the world, but also not the best. So I was able to get them on there. I was able to get Gotrek and 4 dudes on here, which will be Jordan's 5. So I'll hold 1 and hold 2 and hold more. I also got my tactic, which was kill a battle line. That was the bloodletters there. And yeah, that's basically it for my turn. Wiped out kind of the remainder of Jordan's screens. He does still have that one out there. Did a little bit of damage to him with a few dudes that I could get into. I did have to string them back out to hold them, so to hold the objective. So yeah, looking pretty solid for me.
Yeah, I have 5 blood tithe now, so some potential tricks, but it's going to be a tough one here.
Yeah. So with that, we'll go into turn. You'll be winning ties, though.
Yeah, priority.
3. So
it is a tie, but I actually think I'm going to give you the turn here, Zach.
That's what I would have done if I was you.
Yeah, well, obviously long shot either way. Big thing is I'm burning this objective.
Yes.
So going to make it try and play the points game.
Which is basically the whole point of moving those guys. Like, you're moving those few guys up there. And I knew that was a risk. I was hoping to win priority, so I could just burn it.
Exactly.
I couldn't just leave it.
So try and take them out of the game for a little bit. I still have the half charge up, so I could potentially get lucky, keep Gotrek out. We'll have some tricks, but just jumping into it, we'll go into Fyreslayers, turn 3.
Yes, sir.
The Fyreslayers' battle tactic is Savage Spearhead. The Runefather fails heroic leadership, and the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage uses heroic recovery, healing 3 wounds. The Fyreslayers use Rune of Relentless Zeal. Khorne use their Blood Tithe for Apocalyptic Frenzy, and the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage deals 4 damage to the Hearthguard. The Runesmiter chants for Runic Empowerment on the Hearthguard. The Runesmiter fails his chant for Searing Heat. The Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury redeploys, moving 5 inches. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage fails to stomp. The Hearthguard use Skull Breakers and Oath Takers. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage uses Olive Defense, and the Hearthguard deals 6 damage to it. The Bloodthirster of Unfeathered Fury uses Rejoice in the Slaughter for free with the Crimson Crown. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage deals 3 damage to the Hearthguard. The Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury deals 2 damage to the Hearthguard. The Fyreslayers hold 1 objective and achieve their battle tactic, scoring 3 points.
Okay, so Fyreslayers turn 3. Once again, as we discussed before, Jordan smartly gave me the turn, which did a good chunk.
I had a master plan.
He had a master plan, which you can go through. So we burned that one, but I did Savage Spearhead because there was really no other tactic I could do. I have no monster. I knew I wouldn't be able to kill him. I would need to like really spike, and I knew that wasn't happening. So I did Savage Spearhead because I knew I could at least guarantee that one, but that did force those guys to go up there rather than come around here. So now they're in nowhere land a little bit. Luckily I rolled high for the run roll, so at least they're relatively more tucked in and close, so that's nice. Gotrek, I decided to move him. It would be a 10-inch charge, Probably unlikely I would
if
get
you
it
hadn't
anyways.
moved.
If I hadn't moved, it would be a 10-inch charge. Technically, it was a 5-inch charge, but Khorne Demon Prince half that.
Doubled it.
Sorry,
or halved your charge
half
roll.
my charge, which doubled the 5. But I decided, I'm like, you know what? Jordan rolls 1s on his redeploys all the time, so it's going to happen this time. So I moved up. Unfortunately for me, he rolled a 5, which got
completely out of your potential charge range.
Exactly. So I was just like, a 1 and a 2, like, I'm either better or exactly the same. 3, I'm worse. I need a 12, and that's a lot worse. But then it still forced him to spend his CP, and he doesn't have a general, so he's not getting that back right away. So at least there's that, and also gives Gotrek a little bit more of a centralized position.
Yeah.
He moved up an inch, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're moving 4 inches each turn, it is a lot. And then these guys, they were already in combat. They piled and attacked it about 6 damage over here.
Unfortunately,
but
I just didn't really make a big difference.
Yes, but Jordan did have a plan.
Yeah, pretty much as you guys would have seen already. I knew I had the blood tithe to do the attack in the hero phase. What I really wanted to do was spike, take down a bunch of the heroes, even just like 1 or 2 6s, knowing that I would get another combat. Now I was hoping to roar you so you couldn't fight at the start of the combat phase, but your Hunters of the Heartland, so it couldn't roar you, which obviously hurts. And then you got those 6 extra damage, not only taking me back down to my second, but my third bracket. And again, even on his second activation, being like the combat phase 1, didn't get the got really good on my hits, being that I'm only on 4-ups, but no 6s to wound, so no exploding damage. Again, that would be awesome, just because, especially two activations, if I got like 2 6s between those 9-12 attacks, that's 6 mortal wounds probably at least. Even there I was doing, I think, 2 bracketed or maybe 3. No, it would have been 2. So if I had got if I had got 1 off previously, it would have been finishing your heroes off. As well as killing the unit there, which I got a ton of hits through. So I got 3d6 through after your saves. That last activation in combat, roll the 3d6. 3 1s, so that hurt. You didn't make any of your saves.
At least on the other side, I didn't make a single one.
But again, just the swinginess of Bloodthirsters. So that was what I was trying to do. But I'm still alive. I did also the pile in 6 inches because he can do that once per battle round for free. Letting him get into combat. He did 2 more wounds to your Hearthguard, so not the most significant, but
not insane, but each little bit of damage helps, right? And because of just how slow I am and how everything was placed, I actually only captured 1 objective, so I'll just get this in my tactic for the first non-5 or below score. So
though we are doing it to my turn, bottom of round 3, jumping right into it then. Blades of Khorne, turn 3.
Yes, sir.
The Blades of Khorne battle tactic is Savage Spearhead. The Demon Prince and Runefather both failed heroic leadership. The Demon Prince uses Bloodslit Ground. The Slaughter Priest fails his chant for Smite. The Hearthguard used Redeploy, moving 4 inches. The Demon Prince finishes off the Hearthguard Berserker. Khorne holds 1 objective and complete their battle tactic with monsters, scoring 4 points.
Alright, so Blades of Khorne, turn 3. I'm just trying to score maximum points. If I had the command points, and to be honest, in hindsight, I could have played one smarter but differently. I was kind of playing for the double just for scoring maximum points because that's all I can really go for. It's taken me 5 turns in my entire output of my army to do 2/3 of your one unit. So there's no point in staying in combat. I could do Savage Spearhead with a monster, which I did, or with monsters to get the bonus point. But I did generate a command point with my Khorne Demon Prince. Now I use that for his half charge.
Yes.
If you win priority, that's the only saving grace I have, but I've kind of been, again, setting up, hoping for priority to like stay safe. And really the reason, even more reason to double down on trying to get, go for priority and just bank on priority at this point is I should have spent that command point instead of on the Blood Slick Ground. I could have done it on the auto run 6 here. Get the Fleshhounds on the objective, and I completely mind farted with the numbers where I put 6 bodies on, or 6 bodies worth, and you already had 6.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I could not take that, so I ended up charging the Demon Prince away. These 2 guys, for absolutely no reason, are just sitting here now, ready to get roasty toasty. And I do take that, hold the 1 objective. I get the battle tactic with 2 monsters. So yeah, that's all unfortunate. If I had have, again, done the auto run 6 on the dogs would have been on the objective. I would have had the heroes in behind, but I wouldn't have had the Khorne Demon Prince. His ability. Now it means my stuff's alive right now, which is interesting. It means you're not getting monster points if you win priority. But it means I'm like, I can't chew through you, so I just got to be scoring. So I do drop a point there. But the bonus point with the monsters scores me 1 extra point. Putting me at tie again.
Yeah,
or putting us at tie. So, yeah, into priority.
Yes, sir. I'll be winning ties here.
That's a 1.
And that's a 6 this time.
All right, so.
I think I will take it. So we'll go into Fyreslayers, turn 4.
Sounds good.
The Fyreslayer battle tactic is Monstrous Takeover. The Runefather uses Heroic Leadership, and the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage uses Heroic Recovery, healing 3 wounds. The Fyreslayers use Rune of Awakened Steel. The Runesmiter uses Runic Empowerment on the Hearthguard. The Runesmiter uses Searing Heat on the Demon Prince. The Runesmiter casts Mystic Shield on the Hearthguard. The Runefather uses Lodge Leader. The Demon Prince deals no damage to the Hearthguard. The Demon Prince uses All-Out Defense. The Hearthguard use All-Out Attack and kill the Demon Prince. Gotrek kills a Slaughter Priest and the Bloodsecrator with 2 activations. The Fyreslayers hold 1 objective, but fail their battle tactic, scoring only 1 point.
Okay, so Fyreslayer's top of turn 4. Jordan put me in quite the pickle. Ever since he burned that objective. That's the Fyreslayer's arch enemy is movement.
Yes.
So even though I saved my 2-inch move for this specific occasion, it's still just not enough to get him over here, like into anything. And they probably won't be getting into anything maybe until turn 5 if Jordan feels like letting some get in, but probably not. So I moved up. Now I'm all on that objective. There's no way he's taking that from me. Alternatively, I can't really get up there. And the only guys that are close are a unit of 5 boys right there.
Yeah.
So I'm in quite a pickle. I did Monstrous Takeover as my throwaway battle tactic, because I couldn't do any, unfortunately. If I was intelligent, what I would have done in the very beginning was not Ferocious Advance like I always do. I should have done Aggressive Expansion, held those 2, so then I would have at least had another one. That would have been smart. I didn't think about at the time, I didn't think how much of a detriment it would be over here. So that is too bad. So I'll actually only be scoring 1 point here. And I was saying to Jord, I'm like, just based on that, like he can still do a couple tactics.
And
so
it's obviously super tight here. You store the 1 point only, but it's gonna go down to the wire, I think, on score-wise, because you could still potentially get on there. I have to make sure you don't get on there. Pretty much turn 5.
And the Khorne Demon Prince is finally dead. And I said to Jordan, at the very least, it'll be a moral victory for killing the guy that stopped my 4-inch moving dwarves from being able to do anything.
Sure.
So.
But yeah, that's it. 1 point lead, and we will jump into Blades of Khorne, turn 4.
Yes, sir.
The Blades of Khorne battle tactic is Monstrous Takeover. The Bloodthirster uses Heroic Recovery, healing 3 wounds, and the Rune Father uses Heroic Leadership. The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage uses At the Double. Khorne uses their Blood Tithe to summon a unit of Fleshhounds. The Khorne hold 1 objective and complete their battle tactic, scoring 3 points.
Alright, so Blades of Khorne, turn 4, doing the anti-Khorne thing and not throwing everything into combat.
Yep.
Trying to play with my head and just win on the scoreboard. Again, it's taken me 3 turns of killing 10 out of 15 models of 1 unit.
Yeah.
I guess I killed the other unit of 5 who didn't have the ward save. But here, I just zoned out with my first unit of Fleshhounds, spent the Blood Tithe to summon a second unit of Fleshhounds. And I'm just trying to basically keep you off the objective now.
All of my tactics are now over here.
Yeah, so I knew it's like you have the potential ones is like Conquer, Ferocious or Aggressive Expansion, and Bring It Down. I know because you dropped 1. If you don't achieve any of those, I straight win.
Yeah.
You still do have a chance at some long shot, but
it's extreme long shots, but might as well go for it.
If I was banking on getting both of mine, I would have had to do Broken Ranks here, go into there, but that gives you a battle tactic.
Yes.
Whereas now it's
and also
at least
a VP for a monster, which would potentially even put me 1 above.
Yeah. So right now, I'm potentially playing for the win. If you can't get on and take that objective. At least hoping, it's going to be tough because you could potentially, we'll see. It'll be close. You're basically fighting for everything.
Yeah.
But let's, jump into priority.
Yes, sir. 5.
That's a 1, so.
Cool. So I have to say.
Yeah. So if I had won it there, I think I wouldn't have automatically won. Well, I may have been able to zone you out more.
Yeah, I think you would.
But it would have let me score first, and I would have just been scoring 1 point, but that, again, is critical.
Yeah, so I'll take it here, and we'll go into Fyreslayers turn 5.
Yes, sir.
The Fyreslayers battle tactic is Conquer. The Rune Father and Bloodthirster both fail Heroic Leadership. The Fyreslayers use Rune of Searing Heat. The Rune Smiter chants for Runic Empowerment on the Hearthguard. The Rune Smiter chants for Ember Storm on the Hearthguard. The Rune Smiter miscasts Arcane Bolt, taking 3 mortal wounds. The Hearthguard use At the Double. The Hearthguard use Forward to Victory and make their charge. The Flesh Hounds use all-out defense, and Gotrek deals 9 damage to the Flesh Hounds. 1 Flesh Hound lives! The Flesh Hound deals 1 damage to the Hearthguard, who then finishes him off. The Fyreslayers hold 1 objective, but fail their battle tactic, scoring 1 point.
Okay, Fyreslayers, turn 5. After thinking I had no hope, I realized I would, because I was able to get 5 guys piling in here, 5 guys here, assuming that they didn't die, and then 2 guys here, so it'd be, at worst I would actually even get 12 on. Gotrek just needs to do 10 damage. He did 9.
9, yeah.
And so the Hound that was there lived.
Which stopped this unit from piling on.
Which stopped these 5 guys from piling on.
And now, you would have...
I would have still had to fight those guys.
These guys, you also would have had to kill the wolves, which you would have probably 3 or 4 or 5 even into them.
Yeah.
Kill the Flesh Hounds.
So, I mean, it still would have been something. It still would have been something. But, yep, Gotrek, that's the second time when he needed to just a little bit more damage. Just a little bit more.
So I did all-out defense. I'm like, might as well. 1/6 could make or break it. You didn't roll great with Gotrek. No mortal wounds.
Nope.
There are 4 at the end. At your rend 2, 3 damage each. If I save 1, I live with 1 die with 1 wound. Which happened. I made 1/6 on those 4 attacks. And, obviously the Flesh Hound died in the end, giving me a blood tithe.
Giving you blood tithe, yep.
But,
so in this case, so I saw a plan. I was actually ready to call it before, but I saw a plan to actually get these guys on. Unfortunately, also getting another CP here would have been huge, because then I could have done the +1 aura. These guys would have got an extra inch. It could have made a difference once again. It didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, that Gotrek just whiffing twice. It's all it took. He is one dude. But
it would have had a second activation, but it's just the sequence of things that you needed.
It's just a sequence of just how stuff had to work in this case.
And
unfortunately, I don't have a double pile-in with my normal guys anymore, so they couldn't even double pile-in, because that would have made a difference too.
Huge.
In this case, I will just score 1 point again. Jordan will obviously just hang back, and you won't need to do anything. So you'll just score 1 point.
1
as well.
point. Yep. So.
And then we'll each get our grand strats, which will each be 3. But Jordan in this case will just be up 2.
Holding on to that 2-point advantage just from turn 4.
Yeah.
That where you didn't have a battle tactic there, and monstrous takeover. It's so good.
Yep. So once again, looking back, if I just did Ferocious Vance now instead, because look at all these guys, they're all bundled up, and I could have done
exactly aggressive expansion.
So it's just
conquer, right? Either of them.
Conquer would have been a smart one too. It's just I'm so in tune with using Ferocious Vance, because I'm so used to
do it early.
So
usually
many
don't have
units,
that.
Would be in combat, but it's like my support heroes in this case. It's just my inexperience with not playing Fyreslayers with a while. They're not getting into combat. Like these 2 guys, this was the first time, and they didn't even do anything, right? So it's really not their job. In terms of stuff I would have done differently, I would have done that differently. We would have tied on tactics, tied on everything. So it would have been, I think, a true tie in that case, which would have been funny. Would have been funny. But Jordan, great job. Great job to pull it out. I think you did what you needed to do with your retreating. So.
I'm honestly still just in shock, actually. Just how bad it felt the game was going in terms of killing stuff. But it is a great example of that's not how you win the game.
No.
And while our armies matching up, I have a real tough time getting through you, and you walked through me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the Demon Prince though.
The Demon Prince was huge in this matchup.
Prince.
That was game winning.
I just couldn't get Gotrek was screwed out of a couple engagements. Even some of my guys charging in were screwed out of a couple engagements, right? So
that was clutch. Obviously, not in the Khorne book, but still the best Khorne model on Khorne unit at least. Here, obviously, hugely the MVP. The Bloodthirsters were fun, but against your ward saves and not being able to get into your heroes first, there was just nothing I could do to chew through you. Again, it's with how many activations I had, and I killed 10 guys throughout the game. Well, I guess I got the other 5 from those exploding, but
not a lot of models down. I lost 15 models total.
Compared to me, I have held those 2 guys back for the rest of the game, but they're the only ones besides these summon guys that are still kicking on the board. So it was a surprising win, but a win for the Blades of Khorne, and I think we'll take that for what it is.
And just one other thing of note, I think movement you can take it for granted sometimes when you have a faster army. I just came off playing a GT with Beastclaw Raiders where they're moving 14 inches. But here, like, movement is just so important. Even if I said, like, screw it, I'm not doing a battle tactic here, screw Savage Spearhead, and instead pulled them over here, now they're right here, right? So that's a big thing, and it's something that I think comes with playing an experience with a slow army, which I just haven't been playing with a slow army recently. So I think just being able to say, I don't have to get all my battle tactics in a row, especially because I knew I wouldn't be able to get all of them, right? So I think that was something I should have considered.
And just, like, again, I can't say it enough how important that burning is. Like, like, Slaves to Darkness, Demon Prince was great, trying to slow you down, but just that was the game.
I think that was the game, because alternative, if I win that, I burn this one, and then I
can't take your objectives.
Yeah, I've 15 guys over there, then I have Gotrek and probably whatever it was, 10 or 11 that was left there, right, with all the heroes grouped up, and then eventually I know that you can't get over here, and then I go like, okay, these 15 come. So it was the burning, and burning against a slow army is so important. And I was actually mentioning to Jordan, we have another small tournament coming up. I was just like, even before any of that all happened, I'm like, this secured, I'm not going to play Fyreslayers there. I wanted to mix it up, play something a little bit different, but like, it's just the movement's killing me. So.
Yeah, it's rough. But again, man, and you know what? These are the 2 Bloodthirsters that I just painted up this weekend for this game.
So you didn't even have
alive.
Wow, you didn't even have the curse of painting them?
To be fair, they did almost nothing in the game.
Yes,
this one is the only one who actually killed stuff.
Yeah.
Those guys were doing that 2 wounds a turn.
Yeah, I think he was this guy was the one who rolled 3 1s on 3d3 damage. Or 3d6 damage.
So newly painted model syndrome for the rolling was definitely in effect, but they survive, hold the objective. That's all that matters. I get my grand strat. And again, nice surprising win for Blades of Khorne here. I think that's it for today. We'll wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And if you want to go a step further, supporting us through the premium membership is the best way to support the channel. So we thank you, whether you do or don't. We'll see you guys soon in another battle report.
See you guys.